The Battle of Peleliu, fought between September 15th and November 27, 1944, was one of the most intense and controversial engagements of the Pacific Theater during World War II. This battle saw U.S. Marines and Army soldiers clash with the Japanese forces in a brutal fight for control of a tiny coral island in the Peleliu Islands. The battle, codenamed Operation Stalemate 2, was marked by high casualties, strategic importance, and debates over its necessity and conduct. The Peleliu Islands, including Peleliu, were part of the larger Japanese defensive perimeter in the Pacific. The United States aimed to capture Peleliu as part of the broader strategy to secure the Philippines and eventually move towards the Japanese home islands. The island housed a Japanese airstrip that posed a potential threat to Allied operations in the region. Securing Peleliu was intended to neutralize this threat and provide a base for future operations. However, the strategic value of Peleliu has been a subject of debate. Some historians argue that the island's capture had little impact on the overall course of the war, considering the heavy casualties incurred. Others maintain that the operation was a necessary step in the Pacific Campaign, aimed at securing the flank of the advancing American forces. The primary American forces involved in the battle were the 1st Marine Division, commanded by Major General William H. Rupertus, and the Army's 81st Infantry Division, led by Major General Paul J. Mueller. The Marines were the first to land on Peleliu, with the Army Division held in reserve initially, but later committed to the fight due to the unexpectedly fierce resistance. The Japanese garrison on Peleliu was commanded by Colonel Kunio Nakagawa. The defenders, numbering around 10,900 troops, had extensively fortified the island with a network of caves, bunkers, and tunnels. Unlike previous island battles, the Japanese strategy on Peleliu emphasized defense in depth, designed to inflict maximum casualties on the attackers through prolonged resistance rather than engaging in immediate beachhead defenses. The assault on Peleliu began with a pre-landing bombardment by naval and air forces, intended to soften Japanese defenses. At 8:32 on September 15th, the 1st Marine Division landed on the beaches of Peleliu under heavy Japanese fire. The initial wave faced intense resistance, with many landing craft taking direct hits. The beaches were heavily fortified with pillboxes, machine gun nests, and artillery positions, causing severe casualties among the Marines. One of the primary objectives for the Marines was the capture of the island's airfield. The airfield was located in a central plain, and securing it was essential for the subsequent phases of the battle. The fighting around the airfield was brutal, with the Marines facing fierce resistance from entrenched Japanese positions. Despite heavy losses, the Marines managed to capture the airfield within a few days, but came at a significant cost. The most challenging aspect of the battle was the fight for the Ymerbergal Pocket, a rugged area of coral ridges and caves in the island's center. The Japanese had transformed this natural fortress into a complex defensive network, with tunnels and bunkers allowing them to mount a tenacious defense. The Marines, followed by the Army's 81st Division, faced a grueling battle to clear these positions. The fighting in the Ymerbergal Pocket was characterized by close-quarters combat, with the American forces having to clear out each cave and bunker individually. Flamethrowers, demolition charges, and grenades became the weapons of choice in this brutal environment. The Japanese defenders fought to the last man, inflicting heavy casualties on the attackers. By mid-October, it was clear that the Marines needed reinforcements to overcome the Japanese defenses. The 81st Infantry Division was brought in to relieve the exhausted Marines and continue the assault on the remaining Japanese positions. The addition of fresh troops helped to push the offensive forward, but the fighting remained intense and costly. The Battle of Peleliu officially ended on November 27, 1944, when the island was declared secure. However, isolated Japanese soldiers continued to hold out in the island's caves and tunnels for several months. The cost of the battle was staggering. American forces suffered approximately 10,000 casualties, including over 2,000 dead. The Japanese garrison was almost entirely annihilated, with only a few prisoners taken. The high casualty rate and the debate over the strategic value of Peleliu have made the battle a subject of controversy. Some historians argue that the battle was unnecessary and that the island could have been bypassed, similar to other Japanese-held islands. Others contend that the operation was crucial for the security of subsequent Allied operations in the Pacific. The Battle of Peleliu also highlighted the evolution of Japanese defensive tactics, which would be seen again in subsequent battles such as Iwo Jima and Okinawa. The use of fortified positions and the willingness to fight to the death became hallmarks of Japanese resistance in the latter stages of the Pacific War. Personal accounts from veterans of Peleliu paint a vivid picture of the horrors faced by those who fought there. The intense heat, rugged terrain, and relentless enemy made the battle one of the most grueling experiences of the war. The courage and perseverance of the soldiers and Marines who fought at Peleliu have been honored in numerous books, documentaries, and films.